That does it for CBS 2 News at 4:30. I'm Gretchen Carr.
I'm Drew Griffin. We know you have many choices for news. We thank you for choosing CBS 2. The CBS 2 News at 5 with Harold Green and Laura Diaz begins right now.
Drew, Gretchen, thank you. Breaking news right off the top on this Monday night. Deadly gunfire in a local Burger King. We'll take you there live.
Tragedy on a day of peace. A 7-year-old boy is gunned down while nearby neighbors march for peace on Martin Luther King Day.
Big developments in the search for Lacey Peterson. A Southland hotel is threatened, and Lacey's hometown perhaps is now giving up the search.
Plus, the earth swallows up a local intersection. How long will the traffic nightmare last?
And will a plan to solve the budget crisis drive you to the poorhouse? CBS 2 News at 5 begins right now.
Now, CBS 2 News at 5.
We begin with breaking news at 5. This is a live picture from News Chopper 2, where a child is dead after gunfire breaks out at a local Burger King. Good evening. I'm Laura Diaz.
And I'm Harold Green. That shooting happening in Pomona today at the Burger King on Fairplex and Holt. We have Aaron Fitzgerald overhead in News Chopper 2 with the very latest from the scene tonight. Aaron?
Well, we're still working on gathering details as far as exactly what happened here. It's a very large crime scene, which could possibly indicate that the bullet that struck the child was a stray bullet. Now, most of the investigation is concentrated around the Burger King, and if you look down to the east, down Holt Avenue, this is where the body is. So you can see quite a distance there. The entire block of Holt Avenue is closed down. They've got tape up everywhere trying to gather as much information as they can. We're told by the sheriff's helicopter that departed a few moments ago that they have 3 people detained for questioning. Now, he did not say they had anybody in custody or they had arrested anyone. He merely said that they were detained. So we don't know if those are eyewitnesses or suspects in this shooting, but we do have confirmation now that that is a child that has been killed at the scene, a sad scene. There are a lot of eyewitnesses from what we can tell. They're taking statements from several dozen people in and around this Burger King here where it appears to have taken place. We're certainly going to stay overhead and bring you the latest as it becomes available to us. For now, reporting live from Pomona, I'm Aaron Fitzgerald aboard News Chopper 2.
Aaron, thank you for the update. Elsewhere around Southern California and the nation, millions take time today to honor a man of peace. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. preached a message of nonviolence. We have live team coverage of the King Day celebrations. Mark Coogan in the Crenshaw District and Dave Lopez in Orange County. But we begin with you, Mark.
Laura, we have to tell you on this inspirational holiday, the aftermath of the Kingdom Day Parade here in L.A. was marred by fighting among some young people that resulted in 10 arrests. We will get to that later. Let me tell you that for the vast majority of people here at the parade, it was a very thought-provoking celebration. Martin Luther King's birthday holiday in Los Angeles brought out fans and elected officials and lots of people watching and thinking about the King legacy.
It means a lot because he gave his life to make things better for us. And we have to remember that. And we do remember that. And we will celebrate it until the day all of us die.
Stop the spread of HIV in the black community.
There were lots of groups supporting causes on this holiday honoring a murdered civil rights leader. HIV awareness drew a big contingent of marchers.
We don't want your racist war.
And much in evidence the general unease to outright opposition to war in Iraq.
It means that we can only settle our differences at the peace table. If Dr. Martin Luther King was here, he'd be in the forefront of the peace movement that's being reinvigorated.
They're not telling us exactly what the whole issue is about. And I think it's just about someone having, I don't know, power.
And how are race relations 35 years after Martin Luther King's assassination? Certainly not ideal, people thought, but a long way toward the better 35 years down the road.
Overall, they're pretty good. Everybody seems to be getting along with each other. A lot of things are opening up for everybody. So I think overall it's pretty good.
But after the parade was over, some young people got in fights among themselves. According to LAPD, they tell us that officers waded in, some on horseback with clubs, and made 10 arrests. The charges ranging from assault with a deadly weapon to battery on a police officer. Police also tell us 2 officers suffered minor injuries in the scuffling. Live in the Crenshaw area, Mark Coogan, CBS 2 News.
All right, Mark, thank you for that. It's not just enough to preach peace and concern for others. In Orange County, young people are putting what Martin Luther King taught into action. CBS 2 News reporter Dave Lopez live in Garden Grove with that part of our King Day celebration. Dave?
Well, Harold, is an event that started about 5 years ago and has just grown and grown every year. Behind me, just an example of what these volunteers did today. There are more than 4,000 boxes full of food that will go to the needy in Orange County by the end of the week. And they were all filled by volunteers in the memory of one man. The motto for these volunteers is make it a day on, not a day off. And on this, the celebration of Dr. Martin Luther King's birthday, what would have been his 74th birthday, more than 200 volunteers will fill more than 2,700 boxes of food for the needy, just like Dr. King would like.
It's definitely what he would be doing. I think he'd be proud of us.
Out here doing the boxes and bringing food for individuals, it might be insignificant, but for someone it's real significant. And it's an opportunity for us on our day off to be a day on, and that's what our alumni brothers here at Alpha Alpha try to do.
The Orange County Food Bank normally packs about 500 boxes a day with about 20 to 30 volunteers. On this special day, they had to turn people away.
We actually had to add some more sessions because we had such a huge outpouring of volunteers wanting to volunteer today.
This is the 5th year of this special project, sponsored by Alpha Phi Alpha, the fraternity that Dr. King belonged to during his college days as an undergrad at Morehouse in Atlanta.
Oh, I think this is very significant. When we had a luncheon yesterday for the doctor, and it was over 300 people. I mean, this is our 5th year doing this, so you've got over 200 some odd people here on 2 different shifts. This is a great function.
And as you looked around at the volunteers working side by side, you saw a mixture of races. This is what the doctor wanted.
That's correct. You're not making too big a deal out of it. I think that's what should be happening.
I think it's the honoring Dr. King's memory. Again, it's a great day to go to the beach, but Dr. King's life was dedicated to community service, and especially for young people who are inspired by the world around them.
In the warehouse, on the chalkboard, for all to see the words of the Reverend Dr. King. I have the audacity to believe that people everywhere can have 3 meals a day for their bodies, education and culture for their minds, and dignity and freedom for their spirit. It was a day indeed that exceeded all expectations of people who put this on. Dr. Martin Luther King came to Orange County once. In December of 1961, he made a speech at Chapman. And as so many of the volunteers said today to me, he would be proud at what he sees today. Indeed, he would. Reporting live from the city of Garden Grove, I'm Dave Lopez, CBS 2 News. Back to you.
Dave, they are words to live by. Thank you. Gunfire shatters a day of peace, leaving a 7-year-old boy dead. It happened on Harris Avenue in Compton around 8:30 this morning. Larry Welk has more. He's live overhead in News Chopper 2. Larry?
Harris Avenue, where a 7-year-old boy died here. He was shot this morning. The investigation continues. Here's what it looked like this morning as authorities arrived on scene. Now, the 7-year-old boy was transported over to a nearby St. Francis Medical Center, where he died from what's described as multiple gunshot wounds. And it was shocking to this entire neighborhood, including some of the sheriff's deputies who arrived on scene. And here's what one of them had to say earlier today. Well, I guess that's not available right now, but
I think it's really tragic that something like this happened on a day that we're celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday. This is the very antithesis of what he taught. You know, he taught nonviolence, and here's an instance of it on his birthday.
Now, the only description of the suspects, 3 males in what's described as a white Ford Bronco that was last seen leaving northbound here on Harris Street. If you have any information that might be able to help out these sheriff's deputies, you're encouraged to call the Compton Sheriffs. But at this point, the only description, 3 people, 3 males in a white Ford Bronco, a 7-year-old boy shot here at the scene. Reporting live overhead, I'm Larry Welk, Chopper 2. Back to you.
Terrible story, Larry. Thank you. There is other news tonight. A famous fugitive on the lam, and tonight Andrew Lester's lawyer is urging him to turn himself in. Lester is the great-grandson of cosmetics company founder Max Factor. He vanished earlier this month during his rape trial in Ventura. Lester's lawyer says that he has no idea where his client is, but he wants him to come back and face the judge. Lester's Toyota SUV was discovered in Santa Monica on 10th and San Vicente yesterday. He is accused of drugging and raping 3 women at his beachfront home near Ventura.
A massive sinkhole at a Southland intersection. The earth opens up, taking the street with it. We'll tell you how long the traffic headache will last.
Stand up to Saddam Hussein. Colin Powell lectures the UN about its backbone.
And will California drivers bear the brunt of the budget crisis? Some lawmakers are putting the pedal to the metal to bail out the state.
And move over Shaq Daddy. Now it's Kobe Daddy. Why the Lakers star has reason to celebrate tonight.
And it's Byron Daddy. And I've got the forecast over the next 5 days. Could there be a raindrop in your forecast? You'll know in a moment. The forecast is right around the corner.
CBS 2 News is sponsored in part by Honda.
This is the latest edition of the Accord. Totally redesigned from the ground up, offering a new level of refinement in style, comfort, power, and safety. Attributes Honda has always been known for. But don't let your eyes deceive you. After all, affordability is also our heritage.
Soraya Fidel. Switch to breaking news in Pomona. That's where there's been a shooting at a Burger King. Soraya Fidel has the latest for us. Soraya?
Well, Laura, I can tell you police are not saying a lot at this hour. What we do know is that 2 people are allegedly dead here in Pomona. Investigators are here at the crime scene trying to piece all this together. For now, they have shut down Holt Avenue. We're told the shooting happened earlier this afternoon inside a Burger King. Eyewitnesses tell me a male individually allegedly shot his son. And when police arrived, he fled on foot. Authorities are still looking into this crime and are not telling us much.
I seen the school patrol pulled up. When the school patrol pulled up, they immediately called the police, and the police swooped on him. When they swooped on him, they told him, put your hands up. For him to put his hands up, he only put one hand up and reached in his pocket and said, and pulled it out, and boom, they shot him.
Again, a shooting here in Pomona, 2 people allegedly killed. Investigators still on scene trying to piece this together. We will be following the story and have updates for you later on in the newscast. Live here in Pomona, Soraya Fidel, CBS 2 News.
Soraya, thank you for the live report. Now to the latest on the showdown with Iraq. A strong message from Secretary of State Colin Powell to the UN Security Council. That message, stand up to Saddam. Powell's comments come even as Iraq is refusing to allow reconnaissance flights over its territory to aid UN inspectors in their search for weapons of mass destruction. Powell told the gathering in New York that if the UN is to be relevant in world affairs, it must stop Saddam's repeated games.
We cannot be shocked into impotence because we're afraid of the difficult choices that are ahead of us.
U.S. officials will report to the UN Security Council January 27th, and what they find could be the key day in deciding whether to go to war.
Still to come here at 5 o'clock, Southland cities are feeling the squeeze of the state budget crisis, but will local drivers be forced to cough up the much-needed cash?
How much would you pay to go to the Super Bowl? We'll find out what tickets are going for in San Diego.
And Botox isn't just for wrinkles anymore. Now it's solving a smelly problem. We'll explain.
Plus, Byron Miranda has your forecast next.
Having the gang over for the big game bash? Smart & Final has everything you need to make sure your party really scores, including an incredible array of appetizers and a great selection of beverages. Get smart. Smart & Final, the smaller, faster warehouse store.
Every year, Americans overpay nearly $1 billion in taxes. Let H&R Block help get your money back. We'll double-check past returns free. Those who refiled with us average $1,300 more.
I never know when I'll have an asthma attack.
Using my inhaler is embarrassing.
The faces of mild to moderate asthma. Is one of them yours? Doctors are conducting a clinical research study investigating an oral, steroid-free, non-inhaler medication that may relieve asthma symptoms. Non-smokers 18 to 70, diagnosed with persistent mild to moderate asthma for at least 6 months may be eligible. Call 877-STUDY-64. If eligible, you'll receive free study medication and related doctor visits.
Take a breath. Make the call.
Buick Rendezvous, as versatile as Southern California.
camping, hiking, beach, wherever. The Rendezvous's made for it.
Plenty of cargo room. With leather-appointed seating, it's $6,000 less than our X300.
The Lexus does not have that third row seat. I got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old and all of their stuff. I need the space.
After cashback, this Rendezvous CX is available for under $27,500. See your Southern California Buick dealer.
Madge doesn't know there's a new soft powder cleanser from Spick & Span.
Feels so soft. Great citrus scent. Spick and Span.
The soft powder cleanser cleans without scratching.
I never saw anything so soft work so hard.
The new soft powder cleanser from Spick & Span.
Run into Smart & Final for warehouse savings, like this new 35-bottle case of Crystal Geyser. Buy 2, get 1 free. Smart & Final Party Wings, 4 pounds, just $3.99.
Get smart.
Save time, save money at Smart & Final, the smaller, faster warehouse store.
The search for Laci Peterson came to Southern California this weekend, with new suspicions now raised about the missing woman's husband. Emotions are running high, and he is finally breaking his silence. CBS 2 News reporter Laura McLaughlin is live in Westwood with the very latest. Laura?
Almost a month since a very pregnant Laci Peterson was last seen, and now as her February 10th due date draws near, her family is extremely anxious to find her. Unfortunately, those answers did not come here this weekend at the DoubleTree Hotel, where there was a search meeting held by her husband, Scott. In fact, if anything, it only stirred up more controversy surrounding him. One day after Scott Peterson brought the search for his wife to the Los Angeles area, volunteers in Modesto began tearing down the command center, not because they're giving up hope, but because allegations are now interfering with their work.
The command center in Modesto is always going to close next Friday. We decided to just close it early because once the allegations of Scott having a girlfriend and a $250,000 insurance policy on Laci came out, we just knew it would be bombarded with media, and we wanted to close it because the volunteers wouldn't be able to concentrate on finding Laci.
This weekend, Scott Peterson was surrounded by the media when he decided to go ahead with an LA search for his wife, Laci, even though volunteers called it off on Friday.
We were just afraid that it would turn into a media circus and the family would be bombarded with questions, which they were yesterday, and that's exactly what it turned into.
Not only extra attention for Scott, but the DoubleTree Hotel as well. Since yesterday's gathering, the hotel has received a dozen threats from people who accuse the hotel of supporting Scott. The hotel says they only let the search meeting go ahead because Laci's family approved. Today, Janie Peterson, Scott's sister, said the Peterson family is standing by him.
Scott has our absolute and complete support, and we do not believe any speculation that he was involved in Laci's disappearance.
Now, we can tell you today that Modesto police admitted detectives are working on several leads that may actually help them solve this case, but they say they don't want to interfere with what they're doing, but tell us they could be close to identifying a suspect in this case. For now, we're live in Westwood. Laura McLaughlin, CBS 2 News.
Laura, thank you. If you think the state budget crisis is just a numbers game, well, think again. Every one of us is going to have to pay, and the latest proposal to fund police and fire at the local level means paying more to register your car. CBS 2 News political editor Linda Breakstone takes a look.
Car registration fees will increase if a coalition of local law enforcement has its way.
But the Vehicle License Fund is a complete disaster.
The sheriff joined Mayor Jim Hahn and Assembly Speaker Herb Wesson to lobby for a measure which they say will protect police officers and emergency services now threatened by budget cuts.
If we fired every state employee, every park ranger, every prison guard, we would still be $11 billion short.
This crisis is real, and oftentimes people think, is it really going to happen? Well, if we don't have money to pay for the public safety personnel, it will happen.
The proposed average increase for each car is $103 a year, which officials say is a fraction of the DMV fees that motorists saved since 1999. Back then, part of California's surplus was returned through DMV fees. But instead of now increasing those fees, Governor Gray Davis proposed cuts in the monies which would go to local government.
To restore it to the pre-1998 levels, as Speaker Wesson's pointing out, is absolutely crucial to public safety in California.
We cannot compromise public safety in order to balance our budget. Now, if it means taking these measures, like restoring the VLF to pre-1998 measures, like I said, we stand united, ready to take that step.
Mayor Hahn says the city of Los Angeles stands to lose $245 million over the next 18 months. I'm Linda Breakstone reporting in Westchester for CBS 2 News.
What a way to kick off the week. We had the MLK parade. Laura, myself, Byron, we were all there, and we're a little arm weary now. A little arm weary.
And Byron
waving.
wore shorts.
Yes, he did. Scared people half to death.
That is correct. The chicken legs were exposed. We won't do that again for the next couple of days, but it was nice being out there with you guys. Although you put me in a Pinto, but that's okay. Right now we're looking at LAX. I'll show you the high for today. It was right where we should be for this time of year, 68. The low was 55. That equals double nickels, right? The average, 68 and 49. The sun set at about 10 minutes ago. 60 is the temperature currently in Lancaster. Now we're going to get in the car and we're going to drive down to Burbank in the valley, 64 there. The same for Sherman Oaks, Studio City, and those areas. Ontario, 64 too. Low 60s all over the place. If you're going to Fullerton, they're in the mid-60s at 65. Santa Monica's checking in at 60. Oxnard, a nice night there, 59 degrees, or a nice evening rather. Satellite Loop, you see the clouds north of us, the clouds south and east of us. There are a few clouds in our forecast over the next 24 hours. It doesn't look like there's any rain in our forecast. However, if you're heading up the coast through Santa Barbara, north of Santa Barbara, there should be some rain. Right now it is dry here. Over the next 24 hours, the forecast maps shows green all the way through Central California and maybe just north of Santa Barbara. That looks like the forecast for the next couple of days because high pressure should keep us dry. Hopefully. Not hopefully. We could use some rain. Let me change that. We could use some raindrops in the forecast. Your highs tomorrow, the high spot or the warm spot will be Palm Springs at 76. We'll be in the 60s all over the place. From Lancaster at 68, a nice day there. 68 also in Anaheim. How about Mission Viejo? 65 degrees. 64 in Ventura. 65 in Fallbrook. 63 in Hemet and 66 in Barstow. Your 5-day outlook is calling for a pretty nice warm-up over the next couple of days with the slight chance of fog in the morning. And a few clouds in the forecast, but no rain. Like I said, we could use it, but it doesn't look like we're going to have it. 68 for a high tomorrow, 69 for Wednesday, 71 on Thursday. We have to do a couple of shout-outs to all the folks out there at the Martin Luther King Jr. Parade. Thank you for coming out and supporting Martin Luther King and us and everybody else. And also a big shout-out to Michelle or Jennifer. I didn't get her name right. I don't know if I have the right name, but she took care of me last night at the Golden Glow party. So thank you for keeping me inside instead of outside.
Oh, you've
been to all the best places in the last 24 hours.
A lot of fun. Okay, guys.
And wear those long pants next year. We're on a mission to find Super Bowl tickets.
Good evening, I'm Craig Figner live in San Diego, Qualcomm Stadium behind me. If you want tickets to this weekend's game, you can find them, but it will cost you. Probably won't believe how much. That story just ahead on the CBS 2 News at 5.
Thank you. I want to thank Jack Nicholson and General Day-Lewis for giving me this piece of paper.
And that's just the beginning. David Sheehan will show you what else ticked off Robin Williams.
But first, a check on today's market numbers.
Don't change the channel because we have more money than any other game show on television today.
And this week, contestants are earning more than ever.
Right. Oh, you got it right.
Millionaire.
Tonight at 7:30 on CBS 2. Homeowners, thinking about refinancing? Don't go back to square one with another 30-year program. Get ahead of the game. HMS Capital can remove years of payments from your existing mortgage with no application or appraisal fee and nothing added to your loan balance.
I'm Mark Tice, president of HMS Capital. Don't go back to square one with a 30-year home loan. Get ahead in the game and take advantage of our 25, 20, 15, and 10-year refinance programs.
Apply today. HMS Capital is an equal housing lender.
When the engineers that designed the GMC Envoy XL look at a Ford Explorer, what do they see? Not as much front head and legroom as Envoy XL. Envoy XL has the roomiest interior in its class. More cargo space, too. But they do see Explorer still has room to catch up with Envoy. Now get 0% APR for 60 months on a new 2003 Envoy XL. Upgrade to professional grade. See the pros at your Southern California GMC truck dealers.
You to me are sweet as roses in the morning. You to me are soft as summer rain at dawn. In love we share. That's something rare.
Say it how it's meant to be said with a gift from 1-800-Flowers.com. Our unique birthday flower cake says happy birthday in a whole new way. Call, click, or come in today.
That's the way it's meant to be.
Welcome to the San Antonio Winery, one of Los Angeles' historic and premier tourist destinations. A winery built on tradition and the hard work of the Riboli family, who has crafted some of California's premier wines, like those of their Madalena Vineyard brand. Madalena Restaurant is a tribute to the matriarch of the family and attracts visitors from all over the world. Come to the San Antonio Winery, dine at Madalena Restaurant, and enjoy complimentary tours and tasting of our fine wines. Salute!
If you've got Super Bowl tickets, you're sitting on a gold mine. Fans are paying top dollar for the chance to see Oakland and Tampa Bay duke it out this weekend. CBS 2 News reporter Craig Figner is live in San Diego with the very latest. Craig.
Well, Laura, I'll tell you what, the good news is that if you do want to get tickets to this weekend's game, you can still find them. They're out there. We found them today. The bad news is that if you do want to go, this is probably not a trip that you can do on a shoestring. That old economics lesson about supply and demand is being played out at Qualcomm Stadium. If you want Super Bowl tickets, you're not alone. But if you haven't priced them, you're in for some sticker shock.
I need a ticket for my husband, Edward Ramsey. He is a Raider fan, and he really wants to go to this game, and I have $100 for you.
Unfortunately for these football fans, $100 won't get them anywhere close to the game. One San Diego hotel says tickets are out there, but they are not for the frugal.
I get a telephone call from a gentleman that has 2 Super Bowl tickets. He's looking for $7,000 for the pair. Seats are in the end zone, not that great of a seat.
We did try shopping around online, and eBay had the closest thing to value pricing. We found a couple of seats that would be worthless at any other game, $1,125 for this Sunday. And compare that to 4 field seats. They've already been bid up to $9,200. A lot to pay to be here instead of at home. And for these Raider fans, they say for that money, they'd expect the best seats in the stadium.
It's more exciting to see all the football players real live, and you may be able to get close enough to them to smack them on the fanny.
Back here live in San Diego, that's Qualcomm Stadium right there, and that stadium will be ground zero for the football fans. We are told that about 70,000 people is about how many seats they have. Normally that stadium holds 68,000. They've managed to cram in 2,000 extra seats, of course, because it will mean that the game will be just a little bit more profitable. We are live in San Diego. I'm Craig Figner, CBS 2 News.
All right, Craig, thank you. Breaking news in Pomona, where a 2-year-old has been shot and killed.
That's right, I'm Sarai Fidel, live here in Pomona. 2 people dead, a victim, a 2-year-old. We'll have that story coming up.
Tribune scene in Van Nuys, where a sinkhole has made a mess of this Van Nuys neighborhood. We'll give you an update on the cleanup process in just a little bit.
And will the LAPD be there when you have an emergency? We'll tell you which neighborhood has the slowest response time from police.
And you might call it an illegal safari in the city. We'll show you what's being done to rescue wild animals from Southland backyards.
CBS 2 News is sponsored in part by El Pollo Loco.
Whoa! Want to feed the family without breaking the bank?
Great food doesn't have to cost a fortune. Stop by El Pollo Loco and try their famous flame-broiled chicken, pollo bowls, burritos, and delicious side dishes. It's food the whole family will enjoy.
Hey, looking for a great dinner? Woohoo! At a great price?
Now at El Pollo Loco, 10 pieces of chicken, legs and thighs, warm tortillas, and fresh salsa, just $6.99.
When things get crazy, hey, you need El Pollo Loco.
CBS February.
Here comes the magic.
CSI Miami will rock your world.
This is the place.
Television's most watched new show is about to get even better.
Let it rip.
All new episodes.
We're crime scene investigators.
All new cases.
This is our primary crime scene.
It will leave you breathless.
You're not gonna believe this.
Tonight, see why it's the People's Choice winner.
Nice.
CSI Miami, CBS Tonight.
Work-related injuries happen every day. Did you know that you may be able to receive up to $560 per week in disability benefits, as well as job rehabilitation and medical care at no cost to you? Your immigration status is not important. Call the Work Injury Network at 1-866-500-1234. Find out what you may be able to receive. We've helped thousands of people with all types of work-related injuries and can do the same for you. Don't wait. Call us now at 1-866-500-1234 for your evaluation. 1-866-500-1234. Si habla español.
If you knew about the person who slept with the person who slept with the person
who slept with the person who slept with, well, you'd never go without protection again. For more about HIV/AIDS, call toll-free 1-866-344-NO.
Now, CBS 2 News at 5:30.
Breaking news out of Pomona. We've just learned a 2-year-old boy was shot and killed at a Burger King restaurant. Good evening and welcome back. I'm Harold Green.
I'm Laura Diaz. Here's the latest at 5:30. Investigators are still on the scene of that shooting. CBS 2 News reporter Soraya Fadel is live with the very latest. Soraya?
Well, I can tell you, Laura, many people who live and work here are trying to make sense of this tragedy. Police tell us that a man was inside this Burger King eating, and so was a mother and her 2-year-old. Police say the suspect walked over to the mother and shot the toddler. We understand that the toddler is dead, and police tell us that once they arrived on the scene, they attempted to talk to the suspect. He was not paying attention to them. They attempted to use pepper spray on him, and that's when he attempted to allegedly use his handgun that he had in his pocket, and police say that's when officers shot him, and the suspect is also dead. We have learned. We do not know the motive, why this has happened. Still many questions here. This is a very quiet neighborhood. Many people say something like this is very unusual, and it's not common to see this kind of violence. We'll be following this story. We'll have updates for you live here in Pomona. Soraya Fadel, CBS 2 News.
Soraya, thank you for that. A busy Van Nuys intersection, now a bubbling lake, creating a huge sinkhole and a major headache for people who live and work nearby. What began as a small leak is now a giant wet mess at the intersection of Satakoy and Haskell Streets. And that's where our Josh Rubenstein is live tonight with the very latest. Josh.
Harold, some good news to report to you this evening. Water has been restored to this neighborhood here. We're at the corner of Haskell and Satakoy. The bad news, crews have left for the night, which means work is basically at a standstill. Now we're getting our first good look at this sinkhole here, and you can see where these two pipes meet, a 12-inch pipe and a 60-inch pipe, and the fitting between the two is what burst, causing this mess throughout this neighborhood. Water spews from a huge sinkhole in Van Nuys. The water main break at around 2 this morning startled this neighborhood awake. Richard Clissett lives at the corner where the earth collapsed. He says it sounded like an explosion.
Everything was shaking, the things in the kitchen were rattling, and I woke up my wife. I said, earthquake. So she got up, we looked out the window, and we see all this water coming up from the ground.
DWP crews worked through the morning to shore up the side of the hole to prevent any more sinking. Traffic was shut down in the neighborhood to make way for a thick layer of mud that lined the streets and a river of water that rushed out of the collapse. Many residents in the area were without water overnight and into the morning. Johnny Gurley came outside to deal with the problem in his own way. So you have no water right now?
No. Since 6 o'clock this morning.
And you're just gonna put this in the toilets in the house?
Yeah, to flush the toilets.
Rescue crews that responded to the scene say it was a very dangerous situation. It could have been a whole lot worse if it were the middle of the day.
Clearly, somebody that was not informed could have drove through this like they're going through any amount of stormwater runoff. But we watched the hole develop, and it was a significant hole.
Pat and Abel Banvalos have lived in this neighborhood for more than 40 years. They can't believe the mess.
Sure glad I wasn't driving down this street when it happened.
Amazing, huh?
Oh, really? I understand that was put in 1949, the same year that our houses were built. So, it's old.
Now, just to give you an idea, this hole is about 40 by 40 feet. You could fit about 3 or 4 dump trucks in it. It takes up much of the intersection here. Traffic is going to be a mess over the next couple of days. You've got the 405 freeway off to the east, Van Nuys Airport off to the west, and the Budweiser Brewery up to the north. This is a very heavily traversed area, and it is going to be closed for at least 4 days. We're live in Van Nuys. Josh Rubenstein, CBS 2 News. Back to you.
Josh, thank you. Call a cop and prepare to wait. The number of officers on patrol is near a 5-year low, and that's reflected in the average response time. CBS 2 News reporter Paul Dandridge tells us why that is and what it means live from Parker Center. Paul?
Laura, 60 days into the administration of the new chief. He's in Washington, by the way, not here today. The LAPD wants to be at least new and improved. That's the image they want. That's the reality they want. But these numbers actually put together by the LA Times fly in the face of that. They compare patrol times, response times from 2 years ago to right now.
911 emergency operator 720.
The LAPD has gotten smaller, with close to 100 fewer officers than it had 2 years ago. As a result, there are fewer police on patrol. Response time has increased the most in areas with the highest crime rate.
It always does. The issue is when you remove resources from the street, the areas of the city that have a high propensity for street crime, violent crime, is going to be impacted more by the less visibility of patrol.
Sir, did they bite the people at all?
Response time throughout the city has gone up, but especially in high crime areas like South Los Angeles. It's gone up more than 3 minutes there. The total time you wait for a police officer in South Central Los Angeles, 10.5 minutes. Former Police Chief Bernard Park says the compressed work schedules are part of the problem, so is the misallocation of resources.
And what's even more critical is not just violent crime, because that's a very small percentage of the call load. What is really reflected in the reduction of service is the regular calls, because that will show a significant droppage also, because response time to those probably has jumped up twofold.
Hit with a high crime spike in November and the highest homicide rate in the country, the LAPD increased resources in South Central, but that did not mean a higher response time.
They're not patrol officers, and while there was an additional allocation of resources to South Bureau, those aren't patrol officers that handle 911 calls. So I think the numbers really don't reflect the assets that we had deployed in South Bureau during the period of time that they looked at.
So the police are saying the numbers don't tell the tale. They're doing a better job. They also say they're constantly reevaluating and assessing their job and moving people to different places. Critics say, of course, quietly, not too loud, that the honeymoon is still on, that this is a chief who may still be learning on the job. Live from Parker Center, Paul Dandridge, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Paul. Wild animals kept as pets, many become maimed and injured. Now a group of Southlanders is coming to their rescue. We'll show you how.
And he's the man who immortalized the rich and famous in cartoons. Now his long life has come to an end.
You know the music, and the Golden Globes love a song and dance. David Sheehan takes you backstage with the big winners coming up next.
With my family, things have to move. So
Hirschfield died. Renowned cartoonist Al Hirschfield died today at his home in New York City. He was 99 years old. Hirschfield's career began back in the 20s, and he was still working at his drawing board as recently as last Saturday. His cartoons and characters captured the stars of Broadway and Hollywood, from Charlie Chaplin to Jerry Seinfeld, and just about every big name in between. Hirschfeld's wife says he died peacefully in his sleep.
Well, the news is much better right here, Harold. It's a horse race, and they're off and running, with one movie looking like the front runner right now. CBS 2 entertainment editor David Sheehan joins us now with a look at the reasons why. David?
Because everybody's snapping their fingers, tapping their toes, and the Oscar race means, I think, this year, Hollywood loves Chicago. First, Best Picture from us broadcast film critics on Friday night. And then last night, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association came in with a major second to that motion, with big prizes once again for my favorite film of the year, Chicago.
Like your hair, I wear your buckle shoes.
And the winner is Chicago. Renee Zellweger for Chicago.
Chicago, the vibrant, high-energy, visually electrifying movie version of the Bob Fosse Broadway musical, danced away with the top total of 3 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Comedy or Musical Picture and Best Actor and Actress for Richard Gere and Renee Zellweger.
It's so crazy because even standing there holding it in my hands, I'm in denial with massive imposter syndrome.
How does it feel? I mean, of all the things to get an award for, singing and tap dancing and playing a whole unusual kind of
I say from now on, that's the clause that goes in the contract. I have to do a tap dance in every movie.
And the winner is Jack Nicholson, About Me.
At this point in your life, you've got a ton of awards and you're like a record breaker. What does it all mean at this juncture?
It means a lot to me. You know, I mean, what does it mean? Okay, well, my children are just old enough to appreciate it. You know, I had done a few serious movies, so they really don't get to see them. They'll get to see this show. You know, I don't know how they'll react to the movie. And there's a lot of things about it. I mean, let's face it, it's a great job to have.
And he does a great job with it. The Golden Globes also made it fairly certain that The Hours and Adaptation will also be running strong in the Oscar race, since both took 2 awards last night. But now, what could be the wildest moment in awards history came on Friday night at our Broadcast Film Critics Awards, when the Best Actor prize was a tie between Daniel Day-Lewis and Jack Nicholson, leaving the short category's only other nominee, Robin Williams, out in the cold.
Yeah, thanks for nothing. It's a tie with 3 people. That's okay, buddy. I just want to thank you. It's so nice to have nothing leaving here. I don't have to thank anybody. You pretty much said you, Robin.
Since they didn't give you an award, you can have
thank
both
you.
of their names in the tie.
Thank you. I want to thank Jack Nicholson and Daniel Day-Lewis for giving me this piece of paper. Has their names on it, not mine. And I'm glad to be left out of this incredible group. I want to thank Jack for, he is to me the greatest actor, and Daniel Day-Lewis the greatest actor, and I'm just a hairy actor. And it's been a wonderful evening for me to walk away with nothing, coming here with no expectations, leaving here with no expectations. It's pretty much been a Buddhist evening for me.
Didn't know he was a Buddhist, but he'll talk to Richard Gere about that.
Oh, he is good.
I thought the Golden Globes were loose.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is really loose.
Great stuff.
The best award show of the year, I think.
Thanks, David.
Yeah.
Southern Californians taking time out to celebrate the dream. Coming up at 6, ceremonies marking the Martin Luther King holiday, focusing on King's lasting legacy.
Wild animals illegally kept as pets. Tonight in Special Assignment, we reveal how some Southern Californians are coming to their rescue.
And it's used to stop wrinkles, now a new use for Botox that could solve a smelly problem.
When you've been a quarterback as long as I have, you can be a little controlling. Used to taking charge, barking orders. I guess that's why I like my new Mitsubishi widescreen HD TV so much.
Come to Pacific Sales and experience Mitsubishi high-definition television with NetCommand.
You just point and hit play.
Now for a limited time, pay nothing until January 2004.
Heck, I bet I can control just about everything from right here. Pretty cool.
Pacific Sales Home Entertainment, Torrance, Irvine, and Woodland Hills.
Chickens have breasts, wings, and thighs. But no one has ever found the nuggets on a chicken.
It's not there either.
Chicken breast strips from Carl's Jr. Because chickens don't have nuggets.
Want to be the center of attention? Get into a 2003 Chevy Tahoe or Suburban. With $2,000 cash back or 0% APR, they sure look good. That's $2,000 cash back or 0 APR.
Special, 400 grams for $1,999.
Breaking news out of Canada, 7 American skiers have been killed in an avalanche. The avalanche swept down on the group near Revelstoke, British Columbia, that is close to Banff National Park. 13 skiers were rescued. At least 1 was hurt there. Canadian authorities said that the group chartered a helicopter to take them to a remote section of the mountain. It's not yet known where the skiers are from.
A group of Southland vets are rushing to the rescue of some wild pets. In Special Assignment tonight, anchor Linda Alvarez shows us what's done to try to save these animals.
Well, Harold and Laura, we found out that more than 100 wild animals that are often mistreated and maimed are confiscated every year by the Department of Fish and Game. Now, the Paw Project is coming to the rescue of those badly declawed big cats. I want you to see just how the vets surgically rehabilitate the big cats and allow them to walk into a new, pain-free life. The lynx, a threatened species, beautiful in the wild. Huge paws, good for climbing. Also work like snowshoes. Thick fur protects it from the cold. Fur that was almost the death of this 3-year-old called Aspen.
Kitty is going to X-ray.
Aspen's a 50-pound Canadian lynx being given new life by the Paw Project.
Aspen was supposed to be a fur coat. He actually came from a breeder.
A breeder who decided it would take too long to raise Aspen for his pelt and turned him over to Wildlife on Wheels, but not before he declawed the cat.
Unfortunately, declawing is not declawing at all. It's a misnomer. It's deknuckling.
The thick fur on his paws hides the mutilated knuckles and bones underneath. But Aspen's caretakers knew something was wrong.
We thought that the tremors when he would bend down to drink water or eat food was just a characteristic of him. But in watching, we realized that Aspen's been in pain for some years now.
So was this bobcat, rescued from someone who had declawed him and tried to keep him as a pet.
When he got here, we thought he was just suffering from depression, lack of family and things like that. But what we soon discovered is that he was in pain because of his feet. A bone spur popped out through his toe pad.
See how infected it is?
The x-rays tell the story of pain. The Paw Project veterinarians donate their time to rehabilitate these wild animals declawed then abandoned by their owners. They shave away fur on Aspen's paws to prepare for reconstructive surgery.
Look at how awful these look.
It's a groundbreaking procedure.
Now we're taking the cartilage off.
You're looking at the raw bone in Aspen's paw. The doctors work one toe at a time to remove bits of painful cartilage and bone chips left behind by sloppy declawing. Then they reattach the ligaments so the pads can grow back normally. Just 3 weeks later, Aspen is jumping and walking better, acting more like a kitten with catnip than a lynx declawed and destined to a life of pain.
Eventually they have to sit back and walk on their wrists instead of on their toes like they should. And that causes arthritis all over their wrist, their elbow, their shoulder.
But now, because of the Paw Project, Aspen the lynx and Bobby the bobcat will be able to join the other animals at Wildlife on Wheels to educate children.
He's a new cat, completely new.
Well, declawing cats, especially big cats like Aspen, has always been controversial. But there's no question that what happened to Aspen could only be corrected by surgery. Now Aspen is with Wildlife on Wheels, which is an educational program based in Upland that goes to schools to teach kids about wild animals.
That's
Harold
a good
and Laura?
lesson learned.
It is.
Linda. Well, forget wrinkles. We've uncovered a new use for Botox that's making many noses real happy.
Plus, John Gruden takes on his former team as his Buccaneers face the Raiders in the Super Bowl. We'll hear from both sides coming up next in sports.
I'm Gretchen Carr with a look at what's new at 6 o'clock. He jumped bail during his rape trial, but left behind a clue. Are police closing in on millionaire fugitive Andrew Luster? And a deadly shooting inside a Southland fast food restaurant. A gunman kills a young boy. And why the cost of registering your car may soon be going up. Those stories and a lot more when Drew Griffin joins me at 6 o'clock.
CBS 2 News is sponsored in part by the Home Depot.
Countertops, cabinets. What about tile floor?
No matter how big or small your redecorating project is, you'll find everything you need during the Home Depot Design Event. If flooring is your project, no problem. Right now, purchase install flooring and get a gift card worth up to $250 by mail-in rebate. And you'll pay nothing until July 2003 when you put it on your Home Depot or Expo credit card. Get a new look now at the Home Depot Design Event.
Tonight, why is Lou Ferrigno being so nice to Doug's wife?
He's a giant. If he wasn't nice, he'd have villagers coming after him with torches.
All new King of Queens. Then the guys build themselves a rockin' clubhouse.
You know, Greg, we should shut this door.
All new Yes Dear, followed by People's Choice winner Ray Romano. Then, Welcome to the Hood.
Where do babies come from?
Parenthood.
When a mommy and daddy love each other very much, and there's nothing good on TV.
Still standing. It all happens CBS tonight. And catch Dave on an all-new Late Show.
Work-related injuries happen every day. Did you know that you may be able to receive up to $560 per week in disability benefits as well as job rehabilitation and medical care at no cost to you? Your immigration status is not important. Call the Work Injury Network at 1-866-500-1234. Find out what you may be able to receive. We've helped thousands of people with all types of work-related injuries and can do the same for you. Don't wait. Call us now at 1-866-500-1234 for your evaluation. 1-866-500-1234. Si habla español.
I have never been to a Grateful Dead concert.
I don't own a car.
I don't want to be an actress.
I have never taken a mud bath. But I'm still a Californian.
So I always look for things grown
right here.
Right here.
Right
And California.
Because I know that buying California-grown products
is good for California.
It's good for California.
And that's good for me because
I'm a Californian.
Be Californian. Buy California grown.
The Clippers and the Lakers squaring off tonight for bragging rights here in Los Angeles. Jim Hill out at Staples Center now. Jim?
Well, Harold and Laura, it's kind of amazing. A lot of people want to know if the Papa will be playing tonight. Kobe Bryant indeed will be playing tonight as the Lakers take on the Clippers here at the Sports Arena. You see, Kobe is just as thrilled now about being a father as he was back in training camp when he made the big announcement.
We're 5 months pregnant.
Get out of here.
Yeah. We're 5 months pregnant, so we're excited.
Kobe's going to be a pop.
Yeah, I'm going to be a daddy.
Kobe and his wife Vanessa have reason to smile. Yesterday afternoon, she gave birth to a 6-pound, 14-ounce baby girl, Natalia. And today, his teammates welcomed Kobe to the Parent Club.
Congratulations to Kobe, him and his wife. Heard they had a beautiful daughter. My advice to Kobe is get his rest during the day because the baby will keep him up at night. I have 5 of them, so that means I don't get any sleep at night.
Well, just get prepared for some long nights. It's definitely going to be those nights where the baby's whining and crying and need a little attention. And I'm sure Vanessa's not going to want to get up every night, so just be prepared to get up.
And we'll hear from Kobe coming up in our 6 o'clock sportscast. Meanwhile, as far as pro football is concerned, when you think about it, it won't take that much to get the Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers up for Super Bowl 37 as both teams advance to the Super Bowl game with impressive victories yesterday in the AFC and the NFC championship games.
It's kind of like that movie Wizard of Oz, you know, the ding dong, the witch is dead. You know, we won a cold game again. We won a road playoff game. We scored a touchdown here in the vet. So hopefully some of those stories will go away.
Tampa head coach John Gruden can be proud of the team. Yesterday, Buccaneers went into cold Philadelphia and beat the Eagles 27-10 to advance to their very first Super Bowl. He will now face the team he coached just last year. Now, Bill Callahan has done a marvelous job replacing Gruden this season in Oakland. His Raiders beat Tennessee 41-24 as quarterback Rich Gannon threw 3 touchdown passes and ran for another. And for Gannon, his focus is on the Buccaneers and not the coach who is on the other sideline.
This game's not about John. It's not about Bill. It's about the Oakland Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and that's really going to be our focus all week.
Will it be very much Super Bowl because you'll be against your former coach, John Gruden?
Well, you know, the week is going to be tough because there's going to be so much talk about that. But the one thing this team has been able to do all year is when it's game time, we've been able to focus and go out and play ball.
It's going to be a little unusual facing, Gruden, but, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. I'm happy to get back. And, I'm just looking forward to the challenge.
Raider fans are already in San Diego, and I'll be in San Diego starting tomorrow with 5, 6, 11 as we get ready for Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl number 37, Sunday in San Diego, the Raiders and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's talk about some hockey. Because it was the holiday today, Martin Luther King Day, the Anaheim Mighty Ducks played a rare afternoon game at the Pond in Anaheim, and some Anaheim fans were hoping to see their team double their pleasure at the expense of Minnesota. On Saturday in Minneapolis, but today they just couldn't hold a 1-goal lead. Antti Luukkonen scores with just over 2 minutes to play in overtime. The Blues by a score of 2-1. The men's top seed has been eliminated. Naui wins it 4 sets. Final score is 6-7, 7-7. Hewitt was trying to become the first Australian men's champion at the Aussie since 1976. But once again, tonight here at the Staples Center, it's the Lakers going against the Clippers. Of course, we'll have another live update for you coming up at 6 o'clock. Reporting live from the Staples Center, Jim Hill, CBS 2 News. Laura, Harold, back to you now.
All right, Jim, thank you. New clues tonight in the search for a Max Factor heir who's on the run.
I'm Christina Penza in Santa Monica. Police found the SUV belonging to Andrew Lester, the fugitive on trial for rape. Now his attorney has a message for his client. I'll have an exclusive interview coming up.
Live in Pomona, where tragedy has hit a 2-year-old shot and killed. We'll have that story coming up. Don't change the channel because we have more money than any other game show on television today.
And this week, contesting more than ever. Tonight, 7:30 on CBS 2.
Presenting Blue from American Express. With no annual fee. Introductory rate of frozen 0%. Remarkably flexible.
think you're going to miss the ending.
Wish I could get a copy of the actual contract.
Instead, upgrade cable and HBO shows for 3 months free. Now, movies, sport, pay-per-view, plus local channels at no extra cost. Internet that's 25 times faster. Dial now time with HBO extra cost. Plus 1 month high internet. Hurry up and work first. Call and upgrade cable today.
Good reception. That's CBS News. Hope you enjoy the Carolyn Moore, thank you. Straight ahead, a deadly shooting inside a food restaurant. They're killing it. The last legacy. CBS 2 News at 6 starts now. Breaking news in Pomona, where shots rang out inside this fast food restaurant, ended the life of a 2-year-old boy before by police.
Andrew Griffin, here what's happening at 6 o'clock with a shooting in Pomona. We now know that 2 people are dead, one from a 2-year-old boy. CBS 2 News reporter Soraya Fidel is live at the Burger King in Pomona, where that shooting happens. Right?
Well, I can tell you many people who live and work here are trying to make sense of this violent tragedy here in Pomona. A 2-year-old shot and killed while he was eating lunch with his mother here inside this Burger King. It happened shortly after 1:30. Police tell us they don't know the motive, and they're trying to put this crime all together, trying to figure out why this happened. Officers tried to apprehend the suspect and use pepper spray, and that's when the suspect pulled out a handgun.
Media called police. The police swooped on him. They told him, "Put your hands up." For him to put his hand up, he only put one hand up, and reached in his pocket and said,
Back here live, so many questions again. 2 people dead, and investigators are trying to piece this all together. I am joined here live with Sergeant Joanne Crabb. Joanne, how do you explain or make sense of this? Was there any relationship between the suspect and this victim?
Well, there really is no sense of it as of yet. Apparently, this was totally unprovoked. What we know is that the suspect was eating at the Burger King, walked up to the victim, and shot the victim. According to witnesses, there was no relationship to the victim whatsoever.
And what happened once the suspect shot the victim? Can you lead us up to that point?
The suspect fled the location. Our officer, along with an officer from the Pomona Unified School District Police, detained the suspect and became involved in an officer-involved shooting with that suspect.
What was he saying to the officers as they were trying to apprehend him?
He was indicating that he wanted to be shot.
At this point, where do you guys stand in this investigation?
This investigation has been turned over to the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, so they'll be handling everything.
Okay, thank you. Back here live in Pomona, still many questions. Tragedy, a 2-year-old dead, the suspect dead. Investigators are trying to piece all this together. Live here in Pomona, Soraya Fidel, CBS 2 News.
Soraya, thank you. Police are looking for 3 men and a white Bronco accused in the deadly shooting of a 7-year-old boy. It happened around 8:30 this morning in Compton. The boy was rushed to the hospital where he died around 2 this afternoon. Police say it all started with an argument over a traffic accident. The boy was hit by stray bullets as he watched from a yard nearby.
I think it's really tragic that something like this happened on a day that we're celebrating Martin Luther King's birthday. This is the very antithesis of what he taught. You know, he taught nonviolence, and here's an instance of it on his birthday.
Anyone with information about this shooting is urged to call the LA County Sheriff's Department.
And elsewhere, Gretchen, some minor violence marred even the Kingdom Day parade in the Crenshaw district. What's important, though, is that millions all across America took time today to honor a man who preached peace and nonviolence. CBS 2 News reporter Mark Coogan is live in the Crenshaw district with more on the celebrations honoring Dr. Martin Luther King. Mark?
Drew, after the parade was over, there was some fighting among young people, and police moved in and made 10 arrests. But compare that number 10 with the 150,000 people, that is the police estimate, the 150,000 people who turned out to see the parade and made this the biggest Kingdom Day parade in LA ever. The parade, the marching units were just the beginning, just skimming the surface of a day to celebrate the legacy of a murdered civil rights hero.
It's about the strides that we made, where we've come from, where we're at today.
University professor Christopher Chima recalled arriving in the U.S. from Nigeria on Martin Luther King's birthday in 1975.
The dream is the most important thing because we all need this dream so that everyone can have a good future, a bright future in America for everybody.
But on a day of remembrance, current events came crowding in. We don't want your racist war. None more current than the possibility of war in Iraq.
We can only settle our differences at the peace table. If Dr. Martin Luther King was here, he'd be in the forefront of the peace movement that's being reinvigorated.
So how are race relations? Some in the crowd noted the general absence of whites and Latinos and Asians among the parade watchers.
The world is still divided, and it's still a matter of dividing race, creed, kind, and it's not what he really wanted. It's better than it was, far better than it was, but it's not really what he wanted, I would dare say.
Then after the parade was over, as people were going home, some young people got involved in fighting, and the LAPD, some on horseback, some swinging batons, moved in. They made 10 arrests. The charges up to and including assault with a deadly weapon and battery on a police officer. Live in the Crenshaw area, Mark Coogan, CBS 2 News.
Mark, thank you. A family tragedy in Anaheim. A mother and two of her children are recovering tonight from stab wounds the police say were inflicted by her husband, the children's father. CBS 2 News Orange County reporter Michelle Geely is live in Anaheim with that story. Michelle?
Gretchen, what happened here in Anaheim to cause a father to allegedly slit the throats of his wife and two of his children? It's a question police still can't answer tonight.
It's terrible. You can't see, I see in my eyes, I never forget this scene, you know. Everywhere, blood, 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 everywhere.
Harjinder Gill is haunted by the screams of children and the gashes inflicted on them and on their mother. It was about 11 o'clock last night when a woman at the Fairway Village Apartments in Anaheim shouted for help. Police say her husband, 29-year-old Gino Ramirez, had slit his wife's throat, as well as two of his children's.
There's no doubt that he was trying to kill his family. With the type of injuries that were inflicted upon them, there's no doubt that what he was trying to do was take their lives.
Sharon Christian lives steps away.
Through the backyard, I heard through the patio, just screaming from a woman, the type of screams that, I mean, I've never heard before. And the yelling that he's killing us, he's going to stab my babies, he's killing my babies, he's killing me. And this went on for at least 4 minutes.
Christian, a registered nurse, knew she had to do something immediately. She ran toward the apartment and saw the mother with 3 massive neck wounds, holding twins in her arms along with a kitchen knife. 3 other youngsters in the home witnessed it all. When it was over, 3 family members had been brutally stabbed, an 8-year-old boy and girl and their mother. Gino Ramirez, their husband and father, suffered knife wounds as well, at least some self-inflicted. Authorities eventually got him to surrender. He was placed under arrest at Western Medical Center. His wife and injured children are hospitalized, and today detectives still have no idea what sent the unemployed Ramirez into such a rage. Of Ramirez's 5 children, 2 are in the hospital, 3 are in protective custody tonight. Police are telling us that Ramirez faces 3 counts of attempted murder. I'm Michelle Geely in Anaheim. Back to you in Los Angeles.
Michelle, thank you. An urgent plea to a famous fugitive on the lam tonight. Come back and face the music. That is from his attorney, Andrew Luster's attorney, the heir to the Max Factor fortune. CBS 2 News reporter Christina Penza was the only reporter to speak with Luster's lawyer today, and she joins us now from Santa Monica with the latest.
Well, Drew, a neighbor actually called police after seeing the SUV parked here on 10th Street. It was apparently abandoned. Now, today, police are still looking for Andrew Luster, and his attorney spoke with me exclusively about the discovery here, and he also had a message for his client. Right over here. Attorney Roger Diamond met me at the spot on 10th Street where police found his client's abandoned SUV yesterday. Fugitive Andrew Luster, the heir to the Max Factor cosmetic fortune, vanished January 3rd during the highly publicized rape trial that could send him to jail for life. Do you have any idea why your client's car would be here?
I have no idea, but I have to tell you that the court has gagged the defense.
That gag order limits what Diamond can say about the case, where Luster is accused of drugging and raping 3 women and videotaping the acts at his Muscle Shoals beach house. In court, Diamond argued it was consensual sex. What he will say about his missing client today.
I have nothing to do with his departure. It was a total surprise to me. I was working on his case Saturday, interviewing a witness, a key witness, and apparently, according to the reports, he'd already left.
Now, here's an interesting note. Andrew Luster disappeared on a Friday. Whoever parked the car here might have realized that it wouldn't be ticketed for at least a week when the street cleaners came around. A neighbor I spoke with last night, Kathy Rubens, tells me she first noticed the Toyota 4Runner parked near her home more than 2 weeks ago, about the time Luster skipped out on his $1 million bail.
I just knew it wasn't my neighbor's car and it didn't belong in the neighborhood. Street cleaning is on Thursdays, and they ticketed it for 3 weeks.
They have the car, but the question remains, where in the world is Andrew Luster? If you could talk to your client, if you could say something to your client right now, what would it be?
To come back. Come back. The case isn't even over yet. The jury's deliberating.
And the jury will resume those deliberations tomorrow. As for Luster, of course, he is still on the run, and detectives now have a clue, at least a clue. What's likely to happen next is that they will look for, try to get a search warrant from a judge to get inside that SUV and see what evidence they may find. In Santa Monica, Christina Penza, CBS 2 News.
Thank you, Christina. Still ahead for us, several Americans killed in an avalanche in Canada. We'll have video just into the CBS 2 newsroom. Also, the state budget crisis could mean Southland drivers have to cough up more cash. Stay with us to find out more.
And this amazing site in Van Nuys, a huge sinkhole, creates big headaches for drivers and repair crews. Much more to come. Stay with us.
CBS 2 News is sponsored in part by Buick.
Buick Rendezvous, as versatile as Southern California.
Camping, hiking, beach, wherever. The Rendezvous's made for it.
Plenty of cargo room. With leather-appointed seating, it's $6,000 less than our X300.
The Lexus does not have that third row seat. I got a 6-year-old and a 2-year-old, and all of their stuff. I need the space.
After cashback, this Rendezvous CX is available for under $27,500. See your Southern California Buick dealer.
Verizon has some good news for everyone in your world. Introducing the International Choice Plan. Now you can enjoy new low rates on all your direct dialed international calls. So you can call around the world anytime for less. With rates this good, you can just ask, how's the weather? Or get Muti's strudel recipe straight from Muti. Or even find out who's hot in Bollywood. And these low rates are good the world over. Even down under.
Just call 1-800-331-6065 to sign up for our lowest rates ever, like 18 cents a minute to the Philippines, 10 cents to South Korea, and 10 cents to Italy.
And keep friendships blossoming year-round.
Call to sign up or visit your local Verizon Plus store. Spend $25 or more on long distance per month, and the fee's just $2.95.
So get ready to start your world tour. Verizon. Make progress every day.
Got your menu worked out for that special get-together you're planning? Sure you do. Why not entertain in style with delicious gourmet party platters from the Honey Baked Ham Store, where you can choose from a wide array of distinctive, fresh-made Honey Baked temptations. Still thinking cold cuts? Or maybe pizza? Probably not. So stop by the Honey Baked Ham Store and treat your guests to something truly delicious. Call 800-706-0141 for the Honey Baked Ham Store nearest you.
Breaking news now, an avalanche in Canada has killed 7 American skiers. This video is just coming in from Durand Glacier in Revelstoke, British Columbia. 13 other skiers have been rescued. There aren't many other details just yet, but the survivors are being rushed to the hospital.
And good news for residents of Van Nuys tonight. Crews have now restored water to homes and businesses there after a giant sinkhole washed away the intersection of Saticoy and Haskell. It began as a small leak but soon grew to a lake about 30 by 40 feet. That's big enough to put 3 or 4 dump trucks into.
Clearly, somebody that was not informed could have drove through this like they're going through any amount of stormwater runoff. But we watched the hole develop, and it was a significant hole.
Officials say it's a good thing it all happened at 2 in the morning and not during the day when there was traffic at the intersection, because things could have been a whole lot worse, and I believe it.
Coming up, Byron Miranda has your forecast.
We have a beautiful forecast. When I come back, we'll talk about it. Plus, we have a couple of shout-outs. What about the kids? I'll let you know. Your forecast is right around the corner.
Not so beautiful here, but you may want to shout out after hearing this story. The state budget crisis, driving force that may mean you pay more at the DMV. We're going to explain.
Having the gang over for the big game bash? Smart & Final has everything you need to make sure your party really scores, including an incredible array of appetizers and a great selection of beverages.
Get smart.
Smart & Final, the smaller, faster warehouse store.
Homeowners thinking about refinancing? Don't go back to square one with another 30-year program. Get ahead of the game. HMS Capital can remove years of payments from your existing mortgage with no application or appraisal fee and nothing added to your loan balance.
I'm Mark Tice, president of HMS Capital. Don't go back to square one with a 30-year home loan. Get ahead in the game and take advantage of our 25, 20, 15, and 10-year refinance programs.
Apply today. HMS Capital is an equal housing lender.
Attention truck shoppers, drive home with 0 down, plus get 0% financing for 5 years at From Dodge. You'll save on California's largest inventory of Rams and Dakotas, regular and extended cabs. Plus, get 0 down and 0% financing for 5 years. Drive new and let your money work for you at the #1 Dodge truck dealer, From Dodge, on the 15 freeway at the 2nd Street exit in Norco. Call 1-866-NOW-DODGE.
Work-related injuries happen every day. Did you know that you may be able to receive up to $560 per week in disability benefits, as well as job rehabilitation and medical care at no cost to you? Your immigration status is not important. Call the Work Injury Network at 1-866-500-1234. Find out what you may be able to receive. We've helped thousands of people with all types of work-related injuries and can do the same for you. Don't wait. Call us now at 1-866-500-1234 for your evaluation. 1-866-500-1234. Si habla español.
Mike is a newlywed whose credit was ruined when his identity was stolen. Now he's deeply in debt.
To the tune of how much money?
Anywhere between $10,000 and $15,000.
But that's not the worst part. Wait till you see who did this to him. An Eye on America report tonight on the CBS Evening News on CBS 2.
Run into Smart & Final for warehouse savings, like supersized Lay's or Ruffles potato chips, 2 for $5. And Corona Extra or Light Beer, 12 bottles, just $9.99.
Get smart.
Save time, save money at Smart & Final, the smaller, faster warehouse store.
Car registration fees could be going up if a coalition of law enforcement officers and local politicians have their way. All of it thanks to the state's gigantic budget crisis. LA County Sheriff Lee Baca joined Mayor James Hahn and Assembly Speaker Herb Wesson to explain the need for higher fees. Now, back in 1999, Governor Gray Davis used the state's surplus to slash DMV fees, but instead of increasing the fees in light of the new deficit, the governor wants to just cut the amount of money Sacramento sends to local governments.
We cannot compromise public safety in order to balance our budget. Now, if it means taking these measures, like restoring the VLF to pre-1998 measures, like I said, we stand united, ready to take that step.
Under the proposal, fees would increase on average $103 a year. Better news in the weather, perhaps. Byron Miranda here with that.
It's all good. You know, I quote MC Hammer when it's all good, and it's all good, guys, for the next couple of days. Doesn't look like we're going to see any rain, although we could use some raindrops in our forecast, but we'll talk about maybe some fog, plus a shout out or two, and then we'll tell you where the mini weather watches are. And happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Let's go outside and show you the high for today. It was 68 degrees. Your average high for this date is what? 68, right? It's right there on your almanac page. The sun set at 5:10 p.m. and the record for this day is 82. Let's show you some of the currents across the Southland. We're going to start with temperatures all over the Southland. If we can go to that right now, please. 59 degrees will start in Burbank in the valley. So Sherman Oaks, Valley Village, Studio City, those areas in the high 50s. Also in the high 50s along the coast at Santa Ana. If you drive over to Riverside, 59 degrees there too. How about LAX? 58. So you kind of need a jacket outside, a light windbreaker at this point. 57 is the temperature in Oxnard. Now look at the satellite loop. You have clouds low clouds north of us, but LA, for the most part, has been in the clear since the afternoon. Down to San Diego, it's clear too. But there is some fog in the forecast overnight into the morning hours. No rain in the forecast from Pasadena through Long Beach, although you see a little green right there in San Bernardino. Don't worry about that. North of Santa Barbara, if you're heading up to Santa Barbara, there's a slight chance of rain there. If you're heading to Fresno over the next 24 hours, yes, there's some rain in the forecast because the trough of low pressure just off the coast will act as the lifting mechanism to give us some raindrops, it looks like, through the central coast. Unfortunately here, the big H, you see the H just off the coast, high pressure off the coast, will block the moisture from heading this way. So the best we'll see is some fog. It doesn't even look like drizzles in the forecast for the next 5 days. Temperatures on mañana. Tomorrow's forecast is calling for a 60 in Apple Valley. If we get in the plane and drive, or you don't drive a plane, you fly a plane, Byron, I know that. Sorry about that. To Marietta, it's going to be in the 60s. We're going to fix that, about 65 degrees, 69 in Riverside, 65 in Mission Viejo, 64 degrees in Ventura, and 59 at Big Bear Lake. The warm spot on the map is Palm Springs. 76 will be the high. Let's go to Morongo Valley. 61 degrees there, 63 in Hemet, and 68 to recap for downtown Los Angeles for tomorrow, which is Tuesday. And that'll be a happy Tuesday, yes. How about 69 degrees with a slight warm-up on Wednesday into Thursday? It looks like by the weekend we'll be in the mid-70s. The valleys could be in the upper 70s to low 80s. We do have a shout-out to a beautiful woman of 73 years old, or 73 years young. She is Miss Ollie Bertha. Ollie Bertha watches us all the time. Thank you very much for tuning in to Channel 2, and the kids will be back tomorrow. Today is a holiday for Martin Luther King. We're going to observe that and not make the kids work.
They got the day off.
Ollie will be the kid today.
Ollie is a kid in heart.
Thanks, Byron. Sports coming up next.
Here at the Staples Center, let me tell you, we're going to talk some NFL football as we get ready for Super Bowl 37. And Kobe Bryant, just a couple of moments ago, talked for the first time about the birth of his daughter. We'll hear from Kobe and a lot more coming up next in sports.
CBS 2 News is sponsored in part by SBC. SBC Pacific Bell is now simply SBC. New look, same great service, SBC.
If you own your own home and you need monthly payment relief due to high credit card balances, problems paying the mortgage or taxes, or just too many bills, you're only human. That's why it's time to call home. Home loan funding can help you, just like we've helped thousands of homeowners since 1980. If your current adjustable mortgage rate is above 3.95%, call Home Loan Funding. Tapping into your home's equity is as simple as calling home. Home Loan Funding, simply lending billions for decades. Call us today.
Entertainment tonight in the Golden Globes.
Brad Pitt, I love you.
From Jennifer to Renee and Richard inside our exclusive ET photo booth. And why Richard's face is where it doesn't belong.
Richard Gere!
Who's laying on our couch? Couple news and Leo's date. Plus what Matthew Perry said about Joe Millionaire and where we caught Trista.
Jennifer Aniston here. Yes, Jennifer and Brad are here.
Plus the best and worst dressed. Then Diana Ross's drunk driving arrest tape next ET.
That's tonight at 7 on CBS 2.
Whoa! Want to feed the family without breaking the bank?
Great food doesn't have to cost a fortune. Stop by El Pollo Loco and try their famous flame broiled chicken, pollo bowls, burritos, and delicious side dishes. It's food the whole family will enjoy.
Hey, looking for a great dinner? Woo-hoo! At a great price?
Now at El Pollo Loco, 10 pieces of chicken, legs and thighs, warm tortillas, and fresh salsa, just $6.99.
When things get crazy, hey, you need El Pollo Loco.
SBC Pacific Bell is now simply SBC. New look, same great service, SBC.
Now let's check with Carrie Kilbride from our sister station KCAL 9 across the hall for a look at what they're working on for tonight at 8. Carrie?
Gretchen, thank you. A Southland hotel is now the center of a volunteer effort for the search for Lacey Peterson. Also, the target of threatening phone calls. We'll have the latest on the investigation for the missing Modesto woman in a live report. And we continue to follow a developing story. A 2-year-old boy gunned down in Pomona at a fast food restaurant. Those stories and more when Pat Harvey joins me on KCAL 9 News at 8. We'll see you then. Now back.
Carrie, thank you. It is a big day in the Laker family, and Uncle Jim is down at Staples Center with a look at that. Jim?
Yes, indeed. I have a new niece.
Aw, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Let me tell you something. I was sweating this one out. But can you imagine how Kobe was sweating it out? Kobe Bryant became a father for the very first time yesterday. His wife, Vanessa, gave birth to a daughter named Natalia. And just a couple of moments ago, the proud papa talked about the firstborn in his family.
I feel great. I feel great.
Tell us about it. Did you hang in there? Did you watch the whole thing?
Yeah, saw the whole thing, you know.
Did you cut the cord?
Did that too. Didn't pass out. Nothing.
So who does she look like?
She looks just like Vanessa. Just like her, thank God.
That's a good thing, right?
It is, man. It is. She looks just like her. I mean, it's right on.
She got any hair yet or anything?
Yeah, head full of hair, just like her mama.
19 inches sounds just like her dad, too.
19 and a half inches, nice and long, you know, long legs. So yeah, she's looking good.
That's what you want.
Yeah, he's getting me ready, see? He's getting me ready.
Has this experience been all that you thought it would be?
It has been. It went by so fast, too. You know, it seemed like yesterday we were just kind of talking about, you know, looking at it and saying, oh, you're starting to show a little bit now. And, you know, now she's here. And, you know, we documented everything. So we have all the ultrasound pictures and baby showers and all this, you know. And now she's here. So one day we can show all the photographs and all the memories.
So Kobe's a new pop, and of course he will be in action tonight as the Lakers take on the Clippers. We'll have those highlights for you at 11 o'clock tonight. As far as pro football is concerned, let the hype begin, because Super Bowl 37 is coming up this Sunday down in San Diego between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and, of course, we're talking about the Oakland Raiders, that's for sure. The Buccaneers left Tampa this morning to a hero's farewell as thousands of fans showed up at the stadium to say goodbye and good luck. And the players hope to return next Monday with a Super Bowl trophy.
We can't wait. You know, it's time. You know, the city deserves a championship, and you know, we got the optimal opportunity to get it, and let's go out and do it for the fans.
You know, I don't think it's even sunk in yet. It just feels like another game that we've won, and I think once we finally get situated in San Diego and start preparing for obviously the biggest game of the year, then I'll sink in a little bit more.
And I'll be in San Diego starting tomorrow at 5, 6, and 11 all week long, bringing you live reports as we get ready for Super Bowl 37. But tonight, it's the Lakers and the Clippers highlights at 11 o'clock. Reporting live from the Staples Center, Jim Hill, CBS 2 News. Gretchen and Drew, back to you now.
Jim, thank you so much for that. And now, here is a look at what we're working on for the CBS 2 News at 11. A toddler is dead. The suspect is dead. And now police try to figure out what happened and why. Plus, important information for women with heart disease, why you may not be getting the treatment you need. It's all ahead tonight on the CBS 2 News at 11 with Harold Green and Laura Diaz.
And that's it for us at 6. We know you have many choices for news. We thank you for choosing us, CBS 2.
For the latest local news, turn to our sister station, KCAL 9, for news at 8, 9, and 10, followed by the CBS 2 News at 11. I'm Gretchen Carr.
I'm Drew Griffin. Thanks for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next.